Hi, everybody. I'm Ann with Generator. I'm our VP of the National Skills Accelerator program. This is our education and workforce development program that supports job seekers and employees by providing skills training and targeted careers. We also provide job placement support to help our participants take the next step in their career development. Our program is designed for individuals who have experienced barriers in their professional growth and development, and we take a holistic approach to the skills training that we do by not only offering technical education, but also the personal and professional support that's needed to succeed. Our Skills Accelerator is fast, just 6 to 10 weeks, and we make it flexible enough to fit into any schedule. Participants learn through asynchronous online modules as well as live virtual sessions with their dedicated career coach who's with them every step of the way. In this particular series, I'll be talking with our participants, alumni, and community stakeholders to give you an inside look at how our program works, why it's impactful, and the ways it's changing lives every day. Today, I'm really excited to welcome Julie to our interview series, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm so excited to connect with you today and learn more about your story and the impact that our skills program has had in your life. And let's just jump in and get started. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
All right, thank you. I am Julie Gullickson. I had semi-retired about 8 years ago after 30 years of corporate healthcare on the retail side in the Dane County area. And I was in the top 5% store in retail pharmacy, and my forte was people leadership as well as community outreach. I decided at that point, at the ripe age of 47, that I felt that I wanted to continue to do something, but maybe not do as many hours and as much stress as I was under, but maybe flip my skill set to more humanitarian and philanthropic. And so I decided to create my own 501(c)(3) called Kindness Bank in the Dane County area in 2020. And I did a balance of direct community outreach as well as basic human needs research. And so our mission is to be invested in improving community health and well-being through the impact of kindness, both personally and professionally, and all those aspects that are intertwined.
Wow, that's incredibly fascinating. And, as you and I were speaking earlier, kindness plays a huge part in all of our lives and really does a lot of dictating in terms of the way in which our days go, whether that be, in a more positive direction or sometimes in a more frustrated or stressful way. So how did you end up deciding to join the Skills Accelerator?
I actually track social media quite a bit to see how the community interacts and gets information and how they kind of filter and focus, or if they do. And so I happened to see that Generator had offered this program for AI for leaders. And I thought, throughout my tenure, I've done a lot of things kind of rudimentary. I haven't really taken a normal route, but being a startup can go very different ways for everybody. And I felt it was important to do the due diligence to take my time because the ultimate idea of what I wanted to do was so impactful that I wanted to take my time to do it right. Not just do it, but do it right and cover all the factors that could go into it. So through my journey, it's been self-funded. So I was kind of like, uh-oh, I'm at a kind of a standstill in what I can do for funding, but still get business as well as nonprofit skills that were extremely timely and meet the needs of how my business was translating, as well as it was affordable. Well, this is free, it's funded by Microsoft and other agencies. So I was like, what? This is too good to be true. And I thought, if they can invest that kind of money, and I need that as part of things that I've been trying to find as a solopreneur and a startup to take it to that next level, then I need to kind of trust the process. And that's what made me sign up. And I was so excited to get accepted.
Oh, thank you. And it's funny that you say this has got to be too good to be true, because that's actually one of the things that we hear quite often from participants, or I should say initially applicants who are looking to be participants, that our program is actually fully funded by third-party sources so that all of the individuals who come into the program, it is completely free to them. And that is specific to our mission, and that we want to be the best partner to our community's best and brightest. And the way in which we can do that is to provide these educational support systems at no funding, or excuse me, at no cost, and through funding with Microsoft as well as our other partners. So I'm really happy to hear that that resonated with you. So tell
Oh, very much so.
and tell us a little bit about your experience in the program. Kind of when did you go through it, and what were the different things that you learned, and how did you apply them to your current role?
Well, I did it early October to about mid-November, so it just ended a few weeks ago. Yay, I got my certificate.
Congratulations. Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
amazing.
I haven't taken like a comprehensive class like this or even an accelerator like, well, ever, but I did have to take the PTCB for being a store manager with Walgreens, but that was like 20 some years ago. So
Yes.
it's like I mean, I have a degree from UW-Madison, but I really had never done anything of this type of concentrated learning, but I realized I needed to deeply immerse myself into something that if I expect other people to do it, I should really set the example and understand the background of what I'm asking somebody else to do, or maybe I could do it myself. I had tried to find programmers and no code and different things, but I just didn't know how to put the pieces together. And a lot of people said, I think you might need an accelerator or something like that to kind of jumpstart you into that next phase. And so what I found is when I did this, I was like, wow, it's going really fast. But I like the fact that you could stop and start the modules and do it at your own pace.
Mhm.
Doing it virtually and asking questions when the material and the advisors, Danny and Diego, were excellent at meeting people where they were at along the journey. Even though it was fast paced, they were there for you. They gave you confidence. They supported you if you felt like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. But once you got past that, you it was just unbelievable how liberating it was to know that you've invested in yourself and the outputs are truly remarkable. Oh, I had conceptualized my idea from my startup to in the future being health tech, and my biggest building block was translating all the work I've been doing into something that was user friendly to the community, like on my website. And
Okay.
so what I found was there are a lot of things out there, but it's not as confusing because they helped it better break down into what could do what along what process of that journey for the users on my website. The use case, it was very, intimidating to hear that you had to make a use case. And I'm proud to say that the work I did and the studies that I did was, like I said, it was very stressful, but it started to crystallize the building blocks. And I was able to, in my use case, create my minimal viable product for what I've been trying to make for 7 years. That's
Amazing.
truly I mean, I started crying when I figured out that it was doable.
Julie, that's
Not just to,
phenomenal.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. So tell
Yeah,
us a
so
little
at
bit
least I'm
about
not like fully processed on that end, but to take something that I guess is a nice way of putting it is in the beginning when you're crystallizing and you're discussing with people, they're like, what is she talking about? It's like in another language. And you almost get that look like Charlie Brown's teacher, and you're like, no, this is going to save lives. This is going to save lives. And they're just like, just keep going. And I had so much support personally and professionally, but this is a journey I had to take myself. And it was individual. And I knew that I'm like, well, I can't climb the mountain in a day, but could I start somewhere? And the use case made me like, come on, you have to do something and keep going. And that due diligence got me to where I was able to effectively be able to speak of the basic elemental concept of what it's all about and what makes it unique. And I did that through AI and through the help of this phenomenal program.
Wow, I'm blown away in the sense that in this program and specifically in that use case experience that you were able to take something that ultimately was more abstract, right? And again, kind of like conceptualize, but really bring it into the concrete, into a reality with an MVP, and in such a short amount of time. So also, if you think about it, the amount of time that you had spent kind of like putting into the research and all of the due diligence that you had prior to joining this really put you in a place where you could actually take the time during the program to create the next step. So tell us a little bit about what that MVP is. We'd love to hear it.
Well, it still hasn't been introduced to the public, but what I can
Okay, so
tell
tell us
you
what, yes,
is,
without having to sign an NDA, tell us what you
yeah,
think. Of
there's intellectual property involved,
course.
but trying to create an ecosystem, a start of an ecosystem that's almost like Amazon for healthcare, and being able to go to a website, be able to go there, find what you need, have it be user specific, and then in the future be tracked. So my use case had to have something that was, able to be traced, be tracked, and then add in HIPAA, cybersecurity, all the back end stuff, which can happen, but find a specific system that was elemental, that would be a directory for basic human needs, like a United Way and a 211 program, but different because my organization will be rolling out the direct impact of human and animal interactions on public health. That's what makes it different. So
Wow.
it's similar, very similar. I've talked to the United Way and the president in this area and the 211 program director, and they said it would be about 750 to $1.5 million to do this. And I was able to come up with a minimal viable product with your help.
Wow, absolutely phenomenal. And it sounds like the work that you're doing is going to have a true impact on not only you, but the people around you, the community, and hopefully many, many more outside of the Dane County area.
Yeah, the proof of concept, I wanted to keep it in Dane County so that it could be replicated as a template. So
Oh,
I was always very true to that image, but it also had to be quantified somehow. And this really helped me kind of coalesce everything I've done and make it into a concept that was easier to speak of and people like could relate to it. And so what's nice about this program is how I'm doing it is it's going to meet people where they're at. That's very hard to do. Instead of just making something and wanting people to use it, I found through my research that you can make the best thing in the world, but if people aren't motivated to use it, they might not make better health decisions or be in the right environment to have a better health outcome. And it's about the community helping the community and how do we do that? So it's not, a free forum that's going to be almost like Amazon for basic human needs, but you can pick and choose, and then there'll be different components like businesses that want to wrap into it on the healthcare side or insurance companies, and that's going to be where it's going to be that there's going to be investments in this because of the fact that the proof of concept is going to be able to be traceable and tie into like real world results, like with the World Health Organization and all of that. So, yeah, this has been a big concept. A lot of people are like, whoa, wow, it's an excellent idea, but that's a big concept. And I'm like, be careful what you wish for, but you know what? This really made me feel like the last 7, 8 years, it was worth the due diligence because on the back end, it's going to have extreme benefits.
wow, it sounds incredibly ambitious, but also incredibly impactful. So we're really excited to continue, supporting you and being a part of that journey as you continue to move forward, to the, as much as you'll allow us to be.
Yeah,
What would, in terms of advice, what advice would you give to others who are thinking about joining a program like Generator Skills?
I would say if there's an idea that you have and it's based on an AI, like for me, like whatever the topic is of the generator program, for me, it was AI. I thought I knew a lot about AI.
I love hearing that response. That's what
I
a lot of
played a
people.
good one on TV. Okay. I used Copilot for years. A friend of mine recommended it, and that's where I did my research. Okay.
Okay.
There's so much more out there. Okay. So it opened my eyes into understanding what areas, so to get back to your question, how do you align with it? So for me, it was AI, and AI was my friend and my foe, so to speak. And I'm
Okay.
like, if I expect somebody in the future, like I pay a programmer or I pay a media company or something, I need to know the basic concepts. I need to be able to be credible in what I'm speaking of. I
Mhm.
don't have to be an expert, but
Mhm.
as you know, to be a leader, you have to be credible and you have to be
Absolutely.
believable and you need to be succinct and concise in what you ask for. And so I really was excited to find a program that would help meet me where I was at because I felt lost. And
Okay.
I'm like, I have this idea and I'm on the cusp of doing it and I know it's going to be amazing, but what are my limiting factors? And I found that I needed to be okay saying, you know what? The limiting factor is me. The best opportunity is right in front of me. Why am I not taking advantage of this? That for me was where I'm like, what am I afraid of?
Ah, such a good point. And I think that that brings up a good point with a lot of individuals where they know they want to get to somewhere different than where they are. But they're not exactly sure how. And ultimately, they allow fear to keep them back from even learning how or learning what support systems they need around them in order to bring them kind of like into the fold and ultimately start marching on the path that they're really looking to do. So the fact that you're able to not only identify that, but ultimately push through it is amazing. They say that bravery is, not the absence of fear, but it's the moving forward in with fear in and of itself. So the fact that you were able to kind of come into the program and recognize that you had some learning to do that would ultimately propel you into this next space is really fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
If you had one ask of the audience today who's watching, what would that be?
I have two. Am I allowed that?
Absolutely. Yes, go for it.
I would say that I learned a lot about confidence doing this. And I would say that if somebody was on the border of deciding to do this or not, trust your instincts. And if you feel inclined to do this, it's probably the right thing to do. The other thing is, I'd love to get support. If anybody knows anything about nonprofits as well as health tech, kind of being both, I'm in that sector that's very different in Dane County and wants to help support, like grassroots startups like this. I should I give you my email address?
Sure. You know what? We can put it in the caption.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I
So
guess just
we'll
reach out
get
to me because
contact
I'd
you.
love to hear. I love to hear because what I'm doing is so interrelated that I'm now working with like the UW-Madison and Madison College about how all these different areas do impact community health and how do we kind of create that into something like a kindness alliance. That's what I'm trying to create in this area where businesses, individuals, the community, how are we coming together in new and different ways to improve outcomes. And I always love doing stuff like that. So if anybody wants to join or help me or learn more or, be a part of the newsletter I'm going to start to create, more and more people are coming to me saying, why aren't you telling us in advance that we could volunteer with you? And I'm like, oh,
Gotcha.
so, so I guess that's exciting because it means that things are moving forward and that's not a bad thing.
Absolutely. So, and I just want to recap because you brought up two such beautiful points. The first point is to trust your instincts, and this program, not only helped support your confidence, but really pushed over the edge in terms of being able to continue moving forward in the direction that you wanted to do.
Hmm.
And then two, support your kindness alliance in the Dane County area. So, for those of you that are listening that have any connections to, as Julie mentioned, Dane County health areas, health impacts, research, things like that, please reach out to Julie. Her contact details will be in the caption that we have for the program itself. You can also always reach out to me, and I'm happy to put you directly in touch with Julie as well. So again, Julie, thank you so much for tuning in with us today and sharing your story on the Skills Impact series. I hope everybody in the audience enjoyed hearing from Julie and learning more about how our program can help individuals gain new skills, grow their confidence, and connect to meaningful career opportunities. If you did like this conversation, please subscribe to our page so that we can share with you many more opportunities of the participants and the alumni that have gone through our program. And again, if you would like to learn more about the program itself, please check out gener8tor.com/skills. Again, thank you, Julie, so much for being here with us today. I'm Ann with Generator, and I look forward to seeing all of you next time.